let's get into it. Our Week 8 NFL contest. I'm going to go first with this as always. And as always, I'm going to go by window. Starting it off, the Thursday night game. I'm going right to Thursday night this week. Tampa at Buffalo. Baker Mayfield, he had that beautiful pass to Mike Evans on the sideline, and then, I don't know, Baker Mayfield turned back into 2021 Baker Mayfield, giving away the game to Desmond Ridder of the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know what to make of the NFC South at all. Buffalo, they need to bounce back. Josh Allen obviously has turnover problems. When he's on, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. When he's off, Buffalo can't seemingly win a game. What Buffalo Bills team are we going to get come Thursday night? Next matchup in the 1 o'clock window. This may seem like a game that stinks to everybody else, but I'm very intrigued by it. You got the number 2 overall pick in the draft, C.J. Stroud, alongside obviously the number 3 overall pick in the draft, Will Anderson, against the number 1 overall pick in the draft, the winless Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young. Will this be Bryce Young's first NFL win coming off a bye? How will he look? How will Frank Reich and that crew disguise for him? My third game on this list, starting off in the 4 o'clock window, the game that you're going to be at up there in Seattle. I told you this last week. Browns at Seattle. I said it's going to be very difficult for the Browns, in my opinion, to win this game in Seattle. Will Myles Garrett have another Defensive Player of the Year award type game? Will Deshaun Watson even be the quarterback? Is there some tension brewing between Deshaun Watson and Kevin Stefanski? I think so. We will see on that. The fourth game is obviously the big game, the 4 o'clock window game. Bengals, Niners. We talked about it a little bit earlier. And then this last game is almost going to be a meme. And I had to put it in here because of this. Because it should be a good game, but I'm fascinated by it. Sunday Night Football. If Tyson Bagent, I said this today on the Brainstorm podcast, if this kid who won the equivalent of the Division II Heisman Trophy, if this kid goes in there and lights up Brandon Staley and the Los Angeles Chargers on Sunday Night Football, I know they're playing at home. It's probably going to be a Bears home game in Los Angeles. Brandon Staley might as well get out his Howard Anna real estate sign, put it up in his front yard, and leave town. The Chargers should win this game by 2 touchdowns. Nobody has any confidence they will because it's the damn Chargers. But so I'm fascinated to see how this game plays out. And that's my list for Week 8 in the NFL.
First of all, the NFL should have flexed Bears-Chargers out of Sunday Night Football because I don't know why this game was even put on Sunday Night Football in the first place.
Can I interrupt you real quick and make a point on why they didn't? So I don't know if you know this or not, but in order to flex a game, you have to flex it 12 days before it has to be played. By the time it was, the Bears were going to play the Chargers. The NFL did not know that Justin Fields was going to be hurt in that game against Minnesota. The Bears were starting to pick up some momentum. People thought the Bears were going to be better than what they thought this year. That's why they put it on Sunday night.
I still think they should have flexed it out. All right. Anyway, on to my list. Number 1, and this game is number 1 by a country mile. Up there in the Pacific Northwest, battle of 4 and 2 teams. Deshaun Watson against Geno Smith. I am going to be at Lumen Field for this game. The Cleveland Browns against the Seattle Seahawks. These are my 2 favorite teams in all of the NFL. I saw them play each other back in 2019 here in Cleveland, and I immediately circled this game when I saw it come up on the schedule in 2023, and I was like, yeah, I am finding a way to get up to Seattle to go to that game, and it's coming to fruition, and you have no idea how freaking excited I am to actually be at this game. So for personal reasons, Brown Seahawks is number 1. All right. Number 2, I'm surprised you didn't have this game on your list, but it is the LA Rams taking on America's team, even though they haven't won anything since 1995, the Dallas Cowboys. Rams, they're coming off of a 24-17 home loss against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I put home in quotation marks because I think half of SoFi was Steelers fans last
If
week.
not more.
Yes, it was hilarious. I don't know why the NFL thought putting a team back in LA would actually work, because it has not. But while the Cowboys, they're coming off their bye week. The 49ers have 2 losses. The Detroit Lions have 2 losses. The Cowboys are like, oh, we're right back in this. Yay! Get out of here. No, you're not. You still have Dak Prescott as your quarterback. You still have Mike McCarthy as your head coach. No, you're not back in this. But this is going to be a fascinating game, because I want to see, how does Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, Aaron Donald, and the Rams respond after that tough loss against the Steelers? And how do the Cowboys look coming out of their bye week, knowing, I think, don't they play the Eagles next week in Philadelphia?
They do.
So I want to know, where are the Cowboys at mentally? Are they looking ahead to that big showdown in Philadelphia? Or are they solely focused on this Week 8 game against the Rams? So that's why it's number 2 for me. Number 3, you had it on your list, and I expressed my concern about this team earlier. It's the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the San Francisco 49ers out in the Bay Area in what could be a possible Super Bowl 58 preview, if both teams can find their mojo and get all the way to Vegas. That's a lot of ifs. I get it. But, going into their bye week, Cincinnati started to find their mojo a little bit, getting 2 wins over Arizona and Seattle. And then, we talked about it. San Francisco, they've lost 2 straight. Brock Purdy might not be as good as everybody thinks he is. I'm willing to admit that maybe I was wrong about him. Maybe he's more of a system quarterback. But I want to know, can the 49ers bounce back at home? Can the Bengals keep that momentum that they had going into the bye week? Can they sustain that coming out of the bye week? So that's why I have that game number 3. All right, number 4, I'm going to the Steel City, a rematch of the 2017 AFC Divisional Round, where the Jacksonville Jaguars came into Pittsburgh and just punked the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know the score ended up being 45-42, so it was only a 3-point game. But to me, it was not that close. Jacksonville, to me, just flat out dominated that game. And you look at the Jaguars now, they're 5-2. They seem to be rolling now, whereas maybe the Steelers are turning it around offensively. Here's how I'll describe the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've Mike Tomlin'd their way to 4-2. Yes, that's right. I just turned Mike Tomlin into a verb. They have Mike Tomlin'd their way to 4-2. Because Mike Tomlin,
my English teacher would be proud of you.
Mike Tomlin just does not know how to have a losing season. He just doesn't. It's unbelievable what the Steelers have done, through their history. Art Modell, not Art Modell. That's the Baltimore Ravens. Mike Tomlin, Bill Cowher, Chuck Noll, the Rooneys. What they have done is unbelievable. All right, and then number 5, definitely not Bears Chargers. Give me a break on that one. I'm actually going to go to the NFC North, Lambeau Field, Minnesota.
Give me a break on this.
It's better than your Bears Chargers game. Come on.
Boy, I'd rather watch Tyson Badger than Jordan Wall. That's just me.
Vikings Packers, but that's just it. You saying that about Jordan Love is exactly part of the reason why this game is on my list, because Jordan Love, he did not look good last week against the Denver Broncos. He hasn't looked good most of the season. Whereas the Minnesota Vikings, they picked up a huge win, at home against the San Francisco 49ers on Monday Night Football. I know, it was amazing. Kirk Cousins actually played well in prime time. That's a rarity. I get it. But this is another game where I know the NFL is a week-to-week league, and it's not like the NBA where you play like 2 or 3 games in a week. But I want to know, can Minnesota take what they did well against the 49ers and take it on the road against a team they should beat in the Green Bay Packers? So that's my list.